Welcome back. Happy Friday. Kerbal Day. We're doing some Kerbal Space Program and we're going to explore the past Kerbals. I know there's probably like a million channels that have done this, but I started with this game way back when it was still in its infancy. Um, and it I want to revisit that. See what how it evolved and just refresh myself as to what I miss out on from times of old. So that's what we're gonna do. A lot of what we're gonna be doing is all sandbox. So not running any mods, mostly because I don't know how they're going to interact with some of these older ones. We're gonna be doing some basic changes here and there. I'm gonna try and get through as many of them as I can, but we're gonna spend some time actually seeing how things are different. So let's sit back and enjoy what what we have going on here. So if you notice down here in the corner, we're currently 1.05. I guess that's 1.0.5.1028. And this is squad 2011 to 2015. I started playing this game in 2015. So this is the furthest version back that I could find in the listing of Kerbal that I could start with. So this should be similar to what I remember way back when I first started playing. So let's go ahead. We're going to start a game here. You can already see that the main menus are slightly different. They're missing a few things that we have now. We're going to start new, and we're going to go past in the present. And we're going to go sandbox mode. And we still have this, still have our welcome message. Um, yeah, graphic wise, it's pretty generic. It's pretty bland, not compared to how it is today. Um, and I've got all my settings turned up. Let's go ahead and crank these up here. We got the thermals, gauges. So this looks like after they added the heat. I think this is the first official alpha or first official release after they got through all the beta of Kerbals. I really wanted to go back and visit some of the betas, but I was just not able to find them. All right, resume. Let's go ahead and check out our research. This facility is closed. Okay. Let's hire some Kerbals. Well, we're in sandbox mode, so it makes sense that that facility is closed. Rankings are still turned off here, so that's good. Let's go into tracker, see what we can find in the tracker. Probably haven't discovered any. Oh, we have. Look at that. This still looks the same. This hasn't changed much. I wouldn't think so. This is one of the core features. Ooh, hey, who's that? Still the big galaxy band there that we're accustomed to, but yeah, I mean the graphics are a little more flat. Well, and that's the point that I wanted to make with this is a lot of people are complaining about KSP2 and what content. Yes, Could they have had more content? Yes, they absolutely could have. Should they have provided more content? Yes, they should have. Um, they originally started developing Kerbal Space Program in 2011 and started doing beta releases late 2014, early 2015, and had the first initial version 1 release late 2015. So that's kind of what we're into here is the first official version 1 release of KSP. When they actually had some playable content. I mean, it was always playable, but a lot of it was sandbox, which is what we're experiencing with a KSP2 is just raw sandbox mode. No career, no science, none of that. Um, so yeah, that's what we're experimenting with here, and we can already see, as I mentioned before, the graphics of this. I mean, this is how KSP used to look. Very flat, very bland, and they've made a lot of changes and adjustments to that. So let's go in and build us a quick rocket here. We got our basic core assets, which is expected. Um, yeah, see, not a lot of detail. It's pretty bland. They've sharpened the details up quite a bit. They've changed the fonts on this too. And yeah, and this is what that's my same feeling too. I bought KSP2 because I'm excited for it. I've enjoyed playing the content they do have, um, and I think when they're done with it, it's absolutely going to be a fantastic program. The physics on it are way better than we have with KSP1. Um, I don't. The biggest disappointment for me in KSP2 is the GUI. It seems too Mickey Mouse and too clunky. Uh, if they could have stayed with something similar to this style, the smaller UIs, I think it would have been a better product. But the things they have now are just they're just too clunky for me. I gotta remember how to build a rocket in these old times here. We need a decoupler. Do we not have that? Oh, come on, we gotta have a decoupler here. Utility. They're all under utilities, that's right. Where's my parachutes? Nope, that's those are docking ports. Parachutes, there we go. The menus have changed. Yeah, see they've split these out a lot too compared to how it is now. Um, put that stack decoupler there. We'll toss on a nice little fuel tank here. Give us a nice little. I think we want something more than a spark. Let's go with that Terrier. It's a good motor for this. Those were under structure. We want to go with this other decoupler. That's biggin. That's biggin. There it is right there. That's the one I'm looking for. That's the same one we just grabbed, yeah, dopey. There we go. Alright. Now, let's go with some big tanks. That's an adapter. We want tank. We want fuel tankage. That's warp nacelle. Warp nacelle. That's a nacelle adapter. We could use that. I don't yawn once until I start playing this game, and then it's yawning all the time. I don't get it. Don't ask me why. 'Cause I don't have an answer to give. Orange tank, that's the guy. Yeah. Come down here. Give us another orange tank. We should be able to attach main cell onto this. It should give us more than enough thrust. Let's see. 86 tons. Yeah, so we should have more than enough thrust to get this thing off the ground. Unused parts, monopropellant. Well, yeah, because we haven't. We want to give this thing a little bit of power too, so we want to put a single solar cell that is going to be ejected once we re-enter. We're going to go with that for right now. And we need a pilot right there. Yeah, Jebediah. Why not? Jebediah is our hero. So, yeah, we don't have auto strutting on this either, so this is going to be interesting. We want to engage our SAS. Put our fuel to about 3/4 of the way. Double check our staging, looks good, and let's go. Rocket sounds sound different, the different rocket motor. You can hear that engine. Let's pitch this thing over just a little bit. Slow down as we go through max Q. Still in the soup. Take us back to here. Gotta remember where I'm turning here. Gotta start pitching this thing over so we can get some horizontal motion here. Because I think we've achieved our height. There we go. See, I can fly this thing with that McJub. (133), 131, perfect. Point towards our node. Extend panels. There we go. Generating some power now. 382 meters a second. Yeah, I think we've got that in that tank. I'm pretty certain we've got that in that tank. Planet-wise, it still looks about the same. Of course, you get mods and make it look a little sharper and better, more detailed. Where is our node? Right there. 2 minutes and 36 seconds to our node. We got a 7-second burn time. Speed things up here a bit. Don't want to wait for 2 minutes. 30, 20. Stop. Stop. I guess the slash key didn't work for this anymore. And that should put us in our orbit, which does. A little high on that, but we're still good here. So that's something. Oops, I keep hitting that docking node. That is not bad. We burn the majority of our fuel. It burned evenly if you look. Yeah, from the top down. And notice how this doesn't have the fuel flow demand either, to where you can say this tank goes first, this tank goes second. They all go from top to bottom. So this is going to go first. When that's empty, this one goes, and then when that's empty, this one goes. That's just how it was back in the day. Still got some good. We still want to leave our SAS on. We want to point towards this. Burn some power. We still have fuel there. That's fine. Let this thing do a full orbit, and then we will flip it around. Yeah, I'm hitting the slash key and it's not slowing it down. So that's something that they've added since then. Alright, let's go ahead and gotta keep the power flowing. Getting to our parry, which is good. And I'll bring that Apo down. Hey, you're supposed to focus on that. Come back here. You swung too far. We need to control from here. Change focus. Drive by rails to quit our rotation. Yeah, it could be good. I keep hitting that docking port every single time. Let's go ahead and kick that loose. So we don't need you anymore. Where is our debris? A little higher up than we are, but still good enough. I'll do a little bit of aero braking here. Oh, look at that. This is what I love about this game. You can see the peaks in the landscape. It's what I've always loved. I mean, even the older versions of Kerbal. So this is what drew me in on this game, is just seeing those mountain ranges on those on the planets as you orbit around them. I mean, for the age of the game, it is still beautifully done. It really is. So now we should start to see, because we're in atmosphere here. This should, yeah, it's reducing. You can see it climbing down here. And if we wanted to expedite matters, we could do a burn to push our altitude even lower if we wanted. Well, let's see how much we can bleed off here. Probably not enough. I think it's probably only going to be about maybe 5 kilometers. Where is our... saw it there a second ago. Oh, it's right there. It is a little higher than us, which is interesting that it's going up when it should. Of course, it would probably have less drag. Should start to have a lot more. Yeah, let's see that speeding up. That counter is speeding up as we get closer to periaps and get the get greater drag onto it. Did we activate that engine? No, let's activate it. Oh, look. Guess who that is? See it? Right there. There it is. Nimbus. That's our little fella. That's our little fella right there. It's coming down quite a bit. I think we do one more orbit, we should be able to have a good re-entry. But I think when we reach here, we're gonna do a hard burn. Almost there. 26, 25, 20. 10. Our meters per second are dropping because we're actually slowing down. Almost boosted ourselves completely back at that point. So now if you noticed, I didn't put a heat shield on here. That's because engines make great heat shields. Why carry the extra weight if you've got something that can be sacrificial? Do I recommend that for every build? No. But it's something to think about. Because those ablaters, they do carry some good weight with them. I mean, it's not a whole lot. It's really, but when you're trying to plan for max delta V, and sometimes a single ablator might put you over that little bit of that, just give you that 1 or 2 more meters a second. Because the last thing you want to do is get your Kerbal out and have them push it home. Yes, 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 I know. Here comes the Kraken. Vibration, vibration, vibration. It's gonna shimmy and shake. Wonder if it's different if we turn SAS off. I think it shimmies and shakes just as bad. Points us downward. Yeah, we could just go full radio in. Really put a lot of surface area on there. It's probably not as much surface area, but because it's not slowing us down much. But boy, is it really dropping our parry down. Look at it. That's dropping our parry down quite a bit. So we are creating some pretty good drag. It's probably aerodynamically, it's probably giving us just a little bit of lift to help hold it. It's still going down, but not as quickly. Oh, I can slice it through the air pretty good there. Aerodynamic forces are gonna rip off the solar panels. Yeah. See where that puts us. Maybe we'll save that solar cell. We've slowed down quite a bit. We are picking up some orbital speed. What's our surface speed? That's increasing too. Still got tons of fuel to slow us down. I always enjoyed how there's one little solar panel missing right there. That's always kicked off my ADHD or my OCD every single time. There she goes. Killing the heat. Reducing velocity. Getting into nice soupy air. Speeds are increasing. I heard something crash. Ah, I just clicked out the window. Bad things are gonna happen. Doom. Boy, that went past us quick, didn't it? Are we still hyper warped here? No. It's our SAS that's freaking it out. See, that was one of the other things. You don't get that now when you have your SAS on. It doesn't shake like that like it used to, like it did here. So much has changed. I mean, look, the desert is just so barren, no detail. But you can see the shadows a lot better. Um, you used to always be able to tell how close you were by looking at your shadow. Don't need the gimbal anymore. And of course, I find the one stinking slope. Mr. Slope Man. That's our desert. Recover the vessel. There's our moons. I'm only 36 minutes in it. This is 1.0.5 that we're playing with right now. We were just talking about some of the differences of it. I was getting ready to go to the next variant of it. If you guys can bear with me for just 1 minute, let's go ahead and quit to main. Mac. Look, add-ons and mods. That just opens up another screen. Uh, take us back. All right, we want to come in here. Betas, and we want 105. Let's see, where's 10? I think it was 107. They don't even have 107 on here. 1.1.3, we could do that. Well, there's 1.6 right there. Why is that not listed as previous? Oh, that's 1.6. We want 1.06. I guess 1.1.3 would be our next variant. Yeah, so we want 1.1.3. I've kind of been toying with the idea of Starfield. But I mean, the current situation right now is kind of limited what I can and can't do. So, um, yeah, we will have to see. So we'll let this thing update. This is what's going to take a long time. It's just this updating. But I mean, we've got a good peak from time to time. It just some of these older caches of the game take a while. Well, I mean, we all can't be Star Citizen, right? As interesting as Star Citizen is, we want to go browse. Because as soon as this is done downloading, I have to launch it from here because the private division launcher doesn't like the older betas and will crash the game every single stinking time. All right. It is installed. Okay. See, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go back and look at the differences of Kerbal. And just get the feel of what I used to remember playing, you know. A game takes a lot less time to load. And that's one thing that's been talked about a lot. There have been a lot of people requesting just let us import a picture of ourselves and model the character around that. But I don't know. I guess maybe they don't want to develop facial recognition software to do that. Because that's essentially what you would need is facial recognition software to be able to import, especially if you're. I really don't even think it has anything to do with privacy. I think it's more uh, because a lot of the characters will show different facial expressions during in the game, right? So it's just not that blank zombie stare. But what do I know? I mean, it's I don't want to do this. It's not important. Resume Savdagam. Would you like to delete them now? No, not now. We want to go past and present. Well, you would have to prove that it's actually their face, though, and I think that's the other thing is people don't want to take like picture of Angelina Jolie and okay, that's my face now. It's that was one of the biggest things about Cyberpunk, but yeah. So we should be under. Let's go to settings. So now we have camera wobble. We've got the UI scale. I didn't even look to see what difference we had in the menu. We do have a master volume. Before on the 1.0.5, we didn't have a master volume. It was just spaceship, ambience, UI, music, and voices. They added the master volume on this, which we didn't have before. Few. I think they added this UI scale too, because I don't remember that UI scale. You know what? Let's quit to main and actually look at the menu here and see. So no real difference here. It's still the same. Going into the settings, contract date deadline dates. They didn't have that before. Show game. Don't show game launcher. Watermark. They still had the watermark. Uh, Graphic settings are the same. Yeah, they added that master for the audio, which is really. Oh, and controller support. They didn't have controller support the last time. So 1.0.6 added quite a few features. That's awesome. I tried. I couldn't find it. I really couldn't find that. I looked. I mean, that was all pre-release of. Yeah, she's up there watching them right now. So, well, well, the game has always been on Steam, but it wasn't as integrated into Steam as it is now. You could buy it as a separate game, but it's always been accessible through Steam. Oh yeah, Steam's been around for quite a long time. My Steam profile is going on 17 years old now. I've had it since 2004. I guess it was more Valve instead of actually Steam back in those days, but it was around. Steam's been around for long, long time. Um, I would say, yeah, it's been a while. The Horatio Hornblower series or the Honor Harrington? Because right now it's the Horatio Hornblower. She's actually had the Horatio Hornblower episodes for a while, along with the Horatio Hornblower movie. Um, she got those way, way, way back. I mean, been married, what, 24 years now? So she's had them 27 years, I think. So I'll have to look again, see how long she's had them. I know it's been a while. Anyway, they're incompatible. Yeah, we're not going to delete them now. Let's just resume past and present. Yeah, I didn't check out the ones that you linked. I think she may have. I myself didn't. Still have pilots. Okay, we're not going to buy new pilots yet. Okay, so this is still the same. Let's go ahead and just recreate the same craft we did before. Don't save. There are incompatible crafts in the folder. Would you like to delete them? Not now. Because those go with our other ones. We don't want to delete those. But we do want to go with this one. Load. Because that should be the same vessel that we just launched. Let's see what's different with that. She hasn't grabbed any of the ebooks yet. She's working on that. She, like I said, she kind of on and off about the ebooks. She likes something tangible, but it's intrigued her. She's well. Let's go full throttle. Why not? Rocket sound is still the same. Let's start making a slight pitch over here. Nothing too drastic, maybe about 5 degrees and then hold. Yeah. She's always talking about how she wants to read more too, so it wouldn't surprise me if she doesn't get more into the books as time goes on. Almost seems like we're climbing at a faster rate than we did before. Oh, don't go flip, 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 flip. I know you want to. I know you want to. I can sense it. This is how we used to fly. Let's aim this thing down a little bit. See if we can kill our horizontal climb a little bit. Okay, I think what we just did was called a direct to orbit burn. Uh, oh, look. Yeah, they added a few things here. They've changed this because before they were stacked out this way. Now they're stacked this way, so that's slightly different. I don't remember. Did we have the pictures of the Kerbals here before? I'm not sure we did. I don't remember if we did. I didn't pay attention. Yeah, I remember the Nokia N900s. That's an interesting question. I guess we're pretty flat here, huh? We could probably go. We need to turn on our solar panel. Because we're gonna run out of power. See, no fuel, no fuel. Lots of fuel. You missed the mark. Flip it back around, baby. Come on. Bing bong. Someone bing bonged me on my phone. Just another Discord message. I should know it's always Discord. Discord's the only thing people use to talk to me with anymore. I like Discord. I spend a lot of time on it. I spend more time on Discord than I should, probably. Nice. Are they all the same show or are they various shows? Because I currently have 27 different radio programs that I have. I've got the Shadow, I've got our uh, Mrs. Brooks, uh, what a lot of the Little Orphan Annie stuff. I'll have to pull the list up again. There's quite a few. Oh, good! They added the slash. I can actually stop time warps. We didn't have that in 1.0.5. Awesome. See, it doesn't track the nodes like it does either. We're gonna run out of power because we're on the dark side of the moon. We'll be coming out of it soon. We should probably do a maneuver burn here. Oops. 475, 476. Let's aim towards our target. Not that we have any, but we'll at least get some recharging right about here. So let's warp 2 here. I didn't test to see if we had that last time. Oh, good. Now when I click this, it actually jumps between the two and I don't have to physically click this like we did before. Yeah, have gun will travel, gun smoke. Dimension X is good. I like Dimension X. Suspense, yep. Oh yeah, Dick Tracy's another one that I have. I know you have detective shows, but yeah, Dick Tracy. Johnny Dollar's one of my favorite. I love listening to Johnny Dollar. Uh, that one always gets me. I when I commute, I'll plug that thing in and listen to it on my way to and from work. One of the episodes is just a little under. Well, let me back up. The first like 4 or 5 seasons, they're 15-minute episodes. Uh, Once you get into like season 5, season 6, they made it more. What? Yeah, but that's what I was just getting ready to say is that when you get into the later seasons, they tend to be more like half-hour programs instead of 15-minute programs. But that's how the radio programs were back then. They tried to cram a lot of those shows in within a half hour or 1 hour time block, right? So it, a lot of them are Mrs. Banks or Mrs. Banks. I keep saying Mrs. Banks. It's Mrs. Brooks. It's the same way. A lot of those are short 15-minute episodes. The Little Orphan Annies, I believe, were 15-minute episodes until they started getting once they got out of like the 50s and got into the 60s. That's when a lot of them started to breaking them up into half-hour to 1 hour blocks, um, and that's how we have our TV programs today is half-hour and 1 hour blocks. But back in the early days of radio, they wanted to cram as much information into that radio frequency for the 12 to 16 hours they were on the air that they possibly could, right? Yeah, and part of that was more for, especially during World War II, um, a lot of that was to help distract people, calm them down a little bit, and not be so stressed about always hearing war news, right? Because there was a lot of that. I mean, in World War II, almost every 15, 20 minutes, you would hear something on the news about the war. So, we'll fast forward here and burn this last minute and a half off. Wibbly wobbly. Okay, that should put us in a nice orbit around Kerbal. Yep, look at that. We've just about spent all that fuel. So, let's make a few little whoop, whoop, whoop. Wow. 48 480 kilometers above the surface, and we can't go full time warp like you can now. They've made a big change on that. Yeah, that a lot of that was when science fiction really started to get unique, right? They were really thinking outside of the box of what could we do to make it sound so advanced and so uh, technological. Because yeah, I mean, a lot of that was still yeah, they had computers, but they were very massive machines, and they had to think, how can we make these shrink a lot of this stuff down and make it more futuristic? That's the word I was looking for. Alien World, which was from 1979, is very good. Huh. I'll have to look that up. All right, we made a couple of passes around here. Let's do our return burn here. Yeah, but it shows like that helped feed a lot of that, right? Um, Without a lot of those shows, we probably would have never gone to the moon well, I, we would have gone regardless. That's just human nature to want to explore what they don't know. But I don't think it would have been as early as it was if we didn't have those type of shows. Um, those shows really helped bring a lot of that to pass. Ooh, okay. I guess we're going in at 32 kilometers. Whee! Slowing down the time warp, time warp. Come on, whip this monstrosity around. Yeah, no, that would be fantastic. I want to check them out. Yeah, if I could justify the cost, I'd get XM satellite radio just for a lot of those classic radio programs because that's one of the things I loved most about XM satellite radio is just those classic TV shows. Ooh, I didn't realize we were that close. We're coming in hot. Yeah, we're definitely coming in hot. Slow ourselves down rapidly here. We're going to lose our solar panel cell, of course. It's sacrificial. XM satellite, yeah. Well, my dad had a lot of old audio cassettes of that stuff that he had found. I guess he found them in a music store at one point in time and bought them all. But I know that they also had them. A lot of the advertisers used to advertise things like that. I mean, they hadn't been off the air for all that long, maybe like 10, 15 years. So they had a lot of those things converted over to tape and LP and stuff like that. So, but I mean, he always had a lot of that stuff just hanging around. So I remember listening to The Shadow and uh, the old, not Outer Limits, but you said it, Suspense. Yes, Suspense is the one I was thinking of. We're gonna burn this engine off here. Bye bye. Look at that thing, flip and tumble, flip and tumble. We're just gonna let this thing fall now. Yeah. Have Gun Will Travel was another good one. That was more in the Western genre. There were a lot of the comedies that were on there too. But again, that's Our Mrs. Brooks was a comedy. Uh, they I think I kicked that off a little early. Oh, we're at 9,000. I guess we're okay. Sorry, I'm focused on multiple things here, having a conversation, and playing Kerbal at the same time. Yeah, yeah, and that was one of the things I learned as I started researching a lot of that. I think Bonanza was like that too, wasn't it? Didn't the Bonanza TV show come first? Or no, 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 it was Wild Wild West because there was a radio version of Wild Wild West too. But I think the Wild Wild West TV show came before the radio program. But I don't think the radio program lasted too long because a lot of those radio programs are starting to be moved off the air and transition over to the boring radio we have now of talk radio and music, right? I don't remember. I don't remember who it was. My memory's not as good as it used to be. I can't remember a lot of that stuff. I used to. I used to be able to rattle that stuff off like there was no tomorrow, but anymore I can't retain that stuff. I don't know if it's just because I don't sleep anymore or if it's my raring ADHD coming back for a vengeance or if I've just pushed out all that old knowledge because oh yeah, yeah, William Conrad. Yeah, yeah, I remember that now. I always liked him. He had that way about him. Well, Lauren Green was good too. I loved Lauren Green. He that's another old radio guy is Lauren Green. Um, no, it doesn't bob in the water like they used to. It's almost like it's solid there. The newer ones will sit there and bob in the water. The water texture is just a little bland too. So that was our 0. They really had the monolith? I don't think they had the monolith, did they? I guess that has been around for a while, hasn't it? And if you notice, the texture here's a little better. We almost have a view of green now on it, where before we didn't. We have separation of these facilities a little better than what they had before. All right, so we're gonna quit this one. We're gonna go on to the next one. We're doing about one version an hour. All right, on to the next one. Beta 1.1.3. So let's go to 1.2.2. Let's see what they did on that one. Give us a little time to download that. Ooh, this one's downloading crazy fast. And it stopped. Lots of caching at the beginning. Now the network speed is picking back up. I don't know what that dip was. See, if I had a slower internet connection, I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, Vincent Price, yeah. Yeah, I remember Sears Radio Theater. I didn't know they had it broke up into those segments. But it would make sense, right? Different content for each night. I should be watching. Oh, before we didn't have the 64-bit version. That's right. It went from 32 to 64 on this version. So we're going to go ahead and start launching the 64-bit here. And this means the physics in this one gets a lot better because that was one of the reasons why they went to the 64-bit was so that they could tighten up the physics and make it a little better. All right. Menu still looks the same. But if you look down here, we're 122 1622 Windows Player x64. This is 2011 to 2016, where before it was 2011 to 2015. So we're on to the next year. Let's look at what we've got in the settings menu. That's still a lot. Oh, advanced tweakables. That was added. We didn't have that before. Retain control point on enter IVA. We didn't have that before. Uh, Watermark still had that. Verbose logging. Okay, so they added that as well. Uh, Graphics still have the same options in the graph. Oh, orbit fades. Always show closest approach for target. We didn't have that either, so that's good. We've got that. Audio. I don't think they've changed anything on that, did they? I think right over here they added the sound normalization. Inputs, a lot more inputs. And controls. Okay, so we're going to apply these. We're going to accept. And graphics seem a little more solid. They don't seem as washed out as they were before. We're going to start game here. We're going to see what we've got. Scenarios, training. Okay, so same stuff as we had. So let's resume. Not now. We want to go to past and present. Space Center looks about the same. We need to really move to day so we can see what it looks like during the day. Yeah, we get a little more texture here than what we had before. Before we had hardly no texture. Still not seeing the trees over there in the background, but the blending's a little better. Yeah, we've got better texture here in the Space Center than we had before. We actually see the walkways. That's an interesting question. No, I'm seeing the ladder coming up here. So that would indicate that we have... Yeah, there's the little walkways up there. Let's see if the rockets still sound the same, shall we? Let's load that bad boy back up. Not now. Load. And looks like, yeah, so they've broke this out a little better now. This is the interface that we're more comfortable with. So they've separated them into pods, fuel tank, engines, command and control, structure, coupling, payload. Yeah, this is a little more of what we're familiar with here. Still all the same stock parts, it looks like. They're just better organized. Command and control. I wonder if we should add one of these on here. Give it a little more flip, 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 flip. Oh, yeah, like that's going to help. We need this bad boy. But if we do that, we're going to need some additional batteries. Will we, though? Will we really? Oh, that's right. This is when they added antennas, too. Yeah. God, those antennas really have been around a long time. A little bit better. Oh, I don't remember if they had the isotope generator. You know what? You're going to go away. We're going to add an isotope generator. Uh, Gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. Tink. These are still the same. These move tools have been around for years. Come on, right there in the center. There we go. Now, we should have... Yep, now we have the fuel delivery and the priority. This is when they really started to get... I think we're starting to get more into the core of how it's been for the last while, because this is looking pretty much all the same. Weight still the same. Electric charge generated, but storage lacking. That's fine. It's because we'll burn through that power pretty quick. This is simply experimental. We're not going all hog wild here. Okay, I will definitely look into it. Go full on hog wild. Yeah, this motor sound. It could just be the main cell sound. I thought the main cell sounded a little different, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it's always sounded that way. And I just haven't used it enough, or I've always used it with additional motors and forgot what it sounded like, because, you know, that happens. Get through maximum dynamic pressure here. Oh, give me a gimbal, lots of gimbal. That makes us wanna fly. Oh, give me gimbal, lots of gimbal. Don't make me wanna die. Okay, still climbing. That's good. That's good. And we're gonna coast up to our height. Because that's what we do. Once we get out of our funky town here. Yeah, I love archive.org. I also, the place I spend a lot of time on, archive.org and abandonware.org. That's always a good one. You can find a lot of neat stuff on abandonware. Especially if you're big into retro gaming, abandonware is kind of the place to go. Oop, too much. 130, 131, perfect. I like it. We want to point towards our node. Yeah, it's rotating a lot better with that new, or with that reactor control well. I'm happier with it. Now, if we look, our tanks should have drained more evenly than they did before, because we've got the flow priority, so it allows the tanks to drain more even. Where before, they were just draining from the top down, right? Which, I mean, in all reality, that's how the tanks actually drain. So we're going to take this, we're going to go in, force everything to the back. And we're going to speed up. Gotta watch things because I don't have McJeb to help me out on the burn times anymore. We're doing this all without mods. Just so we can remember what it used to look like. But it seems like by 1.2, a lot of the core game was there. It was ready. Yeah. Like I said, I can still fly without McJeb, but I really just like the computers to do it because it gives me a little more time to talk and chat. And the detail of the planet's a little better. We got that was the other thing about the 64-bit versus the 32-bit. It really allowed smoother transition with the graphics. Because if you notice on that last one, the pod didn't bob up and down in the water, right? It just looked like it was sitting on a hard surface, which technically the water was a hard surface. That was one thing we should have experimented with more, seeing if it would actually go 24. Oh, that's the other thing. If you look, the font's not dotted and pixelated anymore. Before, it was all that dotted, pixelated font, and they did away with that and made it a more solid font. I'm kind of hoping that's what they do with KSP2 once they harden it a little bit, is change that font and that IU, because I really don't like that UI, that Just too Mickey Mouse. What was wrong with this? Right? This was simple, easy to understand. What they have now, it almost doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the Fisher Price nab ball. Exactly. That's the best way to push it. I call it the Mickey Mouse, but Fisher Price is probably a better uh, uh, description as to what it actually is. I probably drop that tank because I don't think we'll have. Let's go ahead and create our re-entry burn here. Takes so little delta V to burn back. It really does. And if we warp, we should hold on those nodes now, where before, remember, it was not sticking with those nodes. Oh, we blew past it. I wasn't looking at the thing. I don't know where we just burned to, but it doesn't look good for us. 15. Oh dear. Oh dear. Goodness gracious me. We had the warp to here on the last one too, didn't we? We better slow ourselves down. Doomp. Alright, well, we slowed ourselves down. Kick this thing off. Let's rotate this thing around this way. Get it swinging. And then we ping it off into space. Let's see how well that thing tumbles. We're coming in real steep. We're going to have to kill a lot of velocity here because we are coming in hot. It's still getting heat. Not a lot of it, but we're still getting it. Keep the blue side up so you know where you're gonna land. Yeah, we might be just a hair off the coast, if not right on the coast. Looks like a good day to go to the beach. Speeding back up again. Speeding back up again. Like how it speeds up before we actually start slowing down. Come on, kill off the velocity. We gotta get the parachute deployed. We're losing ground. We're losing. I think we've just lost McJeb. I think we've lost him. Come on, come on, come on. Or town. Oh no! He's dead. No, I don't think it is. I think we were on the wrong, yeah, no, we're nowhere near. We're on the wrong continent. It's gonna be like over here, I think. But we just killed McJeb, so that's or not McJeb, Jebediah. But it's a sandbox, so who cares? So yeah, that's 1.2.2. We're gonna 1.2.2.1622. I don't think we're gonna see too much difference between here and a lot of the other revisions. Um, let's quit that and let's go into here and let's check out our 131. Let's start downloading that. See if the README file changed. 131. A little bit. It's very likely the parts and ships and or saves created on previous versions will be incompatible with the latest release. Although we try to preserve save data as much as possible, blah 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 blah. Which we don't care about that in this case because here's all their fixes and game logs that we did. Localization, enhancements, bug fixes, the jetpack transition. Kerbals can no longer EVA from inside fairings. Why would you want to EVA from inside a fairing? Alright, let's start this back up again. This might be the last one we get in before we call it a night. But yeah, I just wanted to take a quick little tour about what it used to look like. See, now we're down to 2017, so settings menu looks pretty much the same as it always has. Scenery settings may require game restart, so they added that. Oh, lighting. They added the lighting boost in this version because they didn't have that last time. Nothing new in the audio, still the same stuff. And of course, inputs and whatever else. So let's accept that. Let's start the game. Resume. No. Press past in the present. Ooh, did they add more color to the Space Center? Kind of looks like they did. Looks like they added some additional textures there. It just looks a little more texturized. A little more detailed. I don't know. Maybe I'm fooling myself. I'll have to go back and watch the video, but it does look like we got a little more texture there. All right. Still got some of the stock parts. This menu's still the same. External fuel ducts. All those parts are good. Got those here. Airplane parts. Alright, let's load it up. Not now. Alright, let's take it for a spin. Seeing a little bit more smoke and haze come off that. I don't remember if we had smoke drill. Yeah, we did, but I think it's a little better defined. The water's looking a little more rugged than it did before. Tink. Well, we kind of blew right through max Q, didn't we? Slow our speed down just a bit. We're starting to heat up a little more. Well, we need to. Start getting some horizontal speed here because we're getting up pretty high. Now we can coast up to our target height here. That always swings so fast. I wish it would stop swinging so fast. Good enough. 125, 125. Almost a perfectly circular orbit. It'll never be perfectly circular because you have to have that little bit of too high and too low to make it a actual orbit. Tink. 12 seconds. Good enough for me. I'm not going to complain about that point. Yeah, see, we're at 125,037 there, and 125,481 meters there. So just a little under a 300 and some odd meter a second variance between it. Or not meters a second, 300 meter height. Which, I mean, 300 meters is quite a distance. It's. So let's fly around here. Warp 2 here. Solar system still looks the same. Ooh. That's a lovely galaxy there. Look at some of these other galaxies. You see the gradient here. I don't know if that's showing up on my stream, but you see different shade gradients here. Let's see how far in that put us. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to start falling down here. Looks like it's going to be in the same spot as we were before. Let's burn it off, baby. Burn it off. Slow ourselves down. Swing it around and kick it off. That's the nature of the game. See if we can save them this time. Activate the engine. Keep the blue side up. Definitely get our speed drop down here because we're coming in pretty quick. Did that hit the water already? Well, at least we've got our speed down to where we can deploy the parachute. We might be able to just deploy that engine or burn that engine off. And there it goes. I hope that doesn't fall on our heads. No, it's over to the side enough. It's gonna make one heck of a noise as it flies past us, though. Whoosh. I don't know. Was the splashdown sound different? I am not sure if it is or not. Well, Valentina, how you doing? Yay! All right, board. Crew report. Even though those don't matter in this, it's still cool to have. Let them feel like they're doing some good in the world. That some person just isn't making them run circles around themselves. Gentle splash. Yeah, see how it bobs? It didn't bob before. How far away from shore are we? Definitely not close enough to paddle. Okay. All right, guys. Well, you know what? We've got 10 minutes left. I'm not sure we have enough time left to do one more variant. So I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you have enjoyed exploring these older versions as much as I have. Uh, if there was something that I didn't do that you thought I should, let me know. Maybe we can do it next time. If there's something that you'd like me to try that you haven't seen anybody else try it, let me know, and maybe we'll do it next time. But for right now, I think I'm going to close this segment out by saying thank you for coming and joining and watching and being part of my stream. I don't have a huge following, but some people like that. They don't like a lot of followers to where they can't get their comments through. I know I've been on a lot of streams like that, and it just seems like everybody's saying something, and you don't always get heard. But yeah, this is Kerbal Space Program, old edition, and we're gonna restore it back to the current version so we can continue our stream next week. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and click the likies and the dislikies and the subscribes and the non-subscribes and hit all the buttons with the things that makes all the whistles. Tells all the platforms I'm doing a fan diddly tastic job. And I will see everybody else later.